Hello, good morning, and welcome to Joy News Desk. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. This is a home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. We're live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 144, and around the globe at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, or not allow any implantation of terrorists in Ghana. That's the assurance from President Akufo-Addo as he rounds up his 3-day tour of the Upper West region.
We are going to prevent any implantation of terrorist activity in Ghana. You cannot do it by yourself. You need the cooperation of the civilian population.
And Doctor of Pharmacy House officers say non-payment of their 7-month allowance is affecting their mental capacity to enable them work efficiently and effectively. So how so? We'll hear from them.
Not even the right thing to do. A health professional should not come to the hospital providing quality service for patients to receive health and quality care when they themselves are starving. When starvation is one of the factors that would deteriorate the mental health of a person. And so if we are going through this situation, how do you expect me to come with a clean mindset and provide a quality health?
Also, Ghana's poorly regulated industrial trawler sector may soon lead to malnourishment of Ghanaians if immediate steps are not taken. CSOs in the fisheries sector have warned against licensing of neutral vision vessels. Stay with us for details of these stories and more, plus business and sports in this bulletin. Now, President Akufo-Addo has called for cooperation between security forces and civilians to help ward off any activity of terrorists and their element in Ghana. Speaking in a meeting with regional service commanders and top-ranked officers of the security services in the region as part of his 3-day tour of the Upper West region, he assured that as a country, Ghana will not tolerate any terrorist implantation. JoyNews' Upper West regional correspondent report on day 1 of his visit to the region.
Though the arrival time for President Akufo-Addo to the Upper West region was shifted 4 hours back, it didn't deter or prevent faithful of the new Patriotic Party, MPP, from giving him a rousing welcome. Regional and constituency executives and supporters of the MPP by 12 midday had crowded in front of the arrival hall of the Wa Airport, hoping to have a glimpse of the president. They have lots of expectation from this visit of the president.
There are a lot of activities that are going on. There are a lot of development projects that are already on hand. And we think that the president should come and see what he has put in here for us so that we can even encourage him to do more for the party in the region.
There are a lot of ongoing projects where there's ground for him to commission, he commissions. The Agenda 111 projects are things that he wants to be completed before he leaves office. And therefore it's important for him to go around and say, even meeting the people and dealing with them is a very essential part of governance because he wants to be near the people and listen to them. Although you hear of the dire picture painted everywhere, this is not the attitude of the people who have given up on the government, who are giving up on the president. They will not be here. And those are the things that he wants to come and feel on the ground and let the people know that he's concerned about happenings and he's going to lead us out of those happenings with our support, inshallah.
The president has done a lot in this region, from giving employment, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. We are here to make sure that the president comes here, feel at home. This is going to be his next home. He will live here knowing that the people of Upper West are really in love with him and they are welcoming him.
Between now and December, a lot of changes will come. So this is what I expect the president to tell the people. He should give us hope. Let us understand. Even the dollar, now that's the biggest challenge. But I trust that it's a matter of time. We'll stabilize the system. So all I want him to tell us to continue to give us hope whilst we work underground to ensure that we fix the economy.
He finally touched down some few minutes after 1 p.m. and quickly rolled out of the airport and straight to the new residency, which houses the presidential lodge. President Akufo-Addo later went out of the artillery and headed to the number 10 Mechanized Agri Barracks, where he met regional service commanders and top-rank officers of the security services in the region.
We are going to prevent any implantation of terrorist activity down. You cannot do it by yourself. You need the cooperation of the civilian population. So that has to be a very important part of your thinking and planning. At all stages, how you can foster good relations with your civilian counterparts so that you can work together to protect all of us.
Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo spoke of efforts made to keep the security services in fighting terrorists and their elements from entering the country.
Support you in terms of manpower, support you in terms of appropriate policy. You yourselves are aware of the efforts we're making to deploy in this part of the northern region these forward operating bases. I think there are 3 in this region: Chilapa, Hamile, and Tumu. A strong case has already been made by some of their commanders to have that expanded to include at least Kojo, as well.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
So that was a wrap of the president's first day of the 3-day tour of the Upper West region. Let's now focus on his warning to terrorist elements and their potential activities in Ghana. The president says he will not allow any implantation of terrorists in Ghana. Very assuring as it may sound, we ask, have we as a country gotten all our security measures right in counteracting any such threat? If so, how good or bad are we looking, and should we go to bed now? Joining us live with some thought on the president's assurance is the executive director of the West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mumini Mukhtar, for more. Thank you for making time to join us, sir. Does the president's words give you any respite in the wake of threat of terrorism, particularly in neighboring countries? As we have Mumini on the line now. Chief, thank you so much for your time. I'm asking, does the president's words give you any respite in the wake of threat of terrorism, particularly in neighboring countries in the sub-region? All right. So the story is that the president has given assurance that he will not allow any implantation of terrorism activities in the country. Now, that assurance the president has given, we're asking, how is our security set up now? How ready are we to counteract any of such activity in the country? And should that mean that we should go to bed as a country? How do security analysts take this assurance from the president? We will be analyzing our setup now. Now, Rafiq is on the line. Our Chief, thank you so much for joining us. Does the president's words give you any respite in the wake of threat of terrorism, particularly in neighboring countries in the sub-region? Okay, so Rafiq Salam, thank you. Rafiq, we know that today is the second day of the president's tour of the region. What has been happening?
The president currently is at Radio Upper West, where he's being interviewed by Seydou Bamanjo, currently speaking about Ghana's move to the IMF and then the reasons why Ghana is seeking a bailout from the IMF. And from there, he will come to the One House Palace, where currently I am in. He will be meeting the overlord of the Wala traditional area, Nafus, in the for any subject. And then after that, he will head to the BK Adama Youth Resource Center and then to inspect ongoing work at the second phase of that particular project. Remember, the first phase of the project is almost done, it's about 98% complete. And the second phase of the project is about 45% complete. And so the president will be moving to that particular area. And then after that, he will roll out of town to the Lambuse district, where he's expected to also call on the chief of Lambuse. And after that, to have a radio interview in Nandom and then head to the Nandom Palace, after which he will cut for the dualization of Nandom Road. And so the president today has a busy schedule in the Upper West region where he has to move from the center of one municipality and straight to the Nandom municipality.
So since he's been giving assurance to the nation about making sure that terrorism does not take root in the country, what do you see in terms of the security makeup of the region?
In terms of the security makeup of the region, the Upper West region, we usually have several military personnel. But I can report to you that the number of policemen in the Upper West region have also increased. The number of military personnel in the Upper West region have also increased. And I can tell you that about 600 military men are now based in the Upper West region. So in terms of security, it has been built up in the Upper West region because of the region's link or neighboring other countries like Burkina Faso. And so security has been built up in the Upper West region. But what the president essentially is talking about, they want the cooperation of the security personnel and the civilian populace so that they will be able to arrest these jihadists and terrorist groups in the country.
Has he spoken about the IMF so far in this interview he's on now?
The president currently is at the that's why he's granting that interview. And then I clean on some of the things that he's talking about. He's talking about Ghana's return to the IMF and the reason why Ghana is currently at IMF. And he's saying that IMF is just like a club, and then you can seek bailout from that particular area. And so we talk about the economic downturn in the country, which is not going good for the country. And the reason why Ghana is seeking a bailout in the IMF.
Thank you very much, Rafiq. Stay on the beat so that you can help us with an update as to whatever will be happening with the president's visit to the region. Rafiq Salam is our correspondent in that part of the country. This is still the news desk on the Joy News channel. Now, some 2021 doctor of pharmacy house officers say they are mentally unstable to provide medical services to patients due to the government's failure to pay their 7-month allowances. The officers, who are yet to be cleared by the health ministry and also receive permanent appointment letters, say they are reeling from the current economic situation, forcing a number of them to leave post. Love FM's Emmanuel Bright Kweku spoke with some house officers and has filed this report.
The joy of exiting the four walls of a university campus to finally find yourself in work with a good salary is the hope of any graduate. But to land a job and not be paid for several months is a teary endeavor. It's been 7 months now, and Dr. Benito Fori, like many of the 2021 batch of doctors of pharmacy, are yet to have a taste of their first allowance for their housemanship started at the beginning of the year.
We've been in the hospital from January 24th. That was the date we reported. And we've worked our heart out. We've worked diligently. We've worked effortlessly in the hospitals, providing quality pharmaceutical service. And to date, still nothing has been done.
As mandated by law, these graduates are required to complete a 12-month training before being accepted into the permanent register of pharmacists in Ghana. Promised of receiving their monthly stipends, these pharmacy graduates are in anticipation for their clearance and appointment letters, the only assurance for them to receive their monies.
Our clearance has not been given, our appointment letters has not been given, and we haven't had any documents even demonstrating or showing that in due time we will get these documents. So that is our major concern, that we need to receive the appointment letters, we need the clearance, and we have to even proceed with our biometrics so that we can get our salaries.
The present economic hardship has rendered many of them financially constrained, with less support from their guardians.
My father and my mother used to support me, but then the support I used to get previously is not the same. At first, I'm on air, but I will say it. My parents would prepare food from Kojo. I'm from Kojo. So they will prepare food from Kojo and send it to STC station. I will go to the station and pick the food and send it home because there is nothing on me that I have to use to prepare food, even to eat. And not just that, they will send me money to keep on myself as transportation money. And I will use that money to come to the hospital and provide the services that we are providing to the patient. My father doesn't even believe me. How can you let your ward work in the hospital from January to August? And your ward comes to tell you that salary has not been paid. When I call him, he doesn't even pick my call.
The overwhelming workload, coupled with the debt to settle, is gradually waning their love for the job. Dr. Pitesha Sapon says their mental health is now compromised.
I can't just go to work and be thinking of all the debts I have to pay. Because at the end of the month, once I get money elsewhere, I'm paying debts that I have acquired for the month, okay? And so it's like I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. It even has so many effects on our mental health. You see us, you literally see our mates and you see that we are stressed out. It has serious consequences on our job as well.
So what are they doing in the interim to survive? Dr. Seribidiakon explains.
In this situation, they cannot overburden us because we are also picking a lot of part-time. Most of us even spent a lot of months looking for part-time or locum pharmacies to do, because that's where that money or that salary that they pay us, that's what we use to buy food. That's the same money that we use to pick transport to our hospitals, our respective hospitals to work.
This situation is a regular hassle pharmacy doctors have had to endure over the years. The current batch of officers are calling for an immediate end.
Senior colleagues who completed had a stipulated amount of money which were given to them. And even with them, they received theirs later as at sometime around the sixth month, when after they had begun doing their house service. And I personally, I'm one of the people who hold this opinion that it is not even the right thing to do. A health professional should not come to the hospital providing quality service for patients to receive health and quality care when they themselves are starving. When starvation is one of the factors that would deteriorate the mental health of a person. And so if we are going through this situation, how do you expect me to come with a clean mindset and provide a quality health? No, never. It can never happen.
Until the government settles their outstanding debts, support in medical care delivery by these pharmacists may be on the line. For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
Now, soon you may not be able to get the type of fish you want, or even in the right quantity. This is because the population of several vital fish species in Ghana's waters is fast depleting. These include small pelagics such as sardinella and chopped mackerel, which are the lifeblood of coastal communities across the country, providing vital food and livelihood security to millions nationwide. The worsening ecological and humanitarian crisis across Ghana's coastline are inextricably linked to the presence of poorly regulated foreign industrial trawlers. Why is this the case, and what is the way out? Joining us for a conversation on this is the programs manager for Friends of the Nation, who is also convener for the Fish Alliance, Kojo Yamwa. Thank you so much, Yamwa, for joining us. How is Ghana's industrial trawl sector, and how does the sector match up to international standards?
Yes, thank you very much. Ghana has allowed a lot of industrial trawl to operate in our waters. Matching this with the international standard, our challenge is the poor regulation of the trawl sector. What do I mean by that? There are laws and regulations guiding the operation of trawl sector. However, in Ghana, the regulations are not able to be implemented. I am being cautious. There are a lot of factors in that regard. But for us, the regulator needs to be up and doing. If you want to really compare the regulation and the methods and measures and the strategies that are put in place to the international standard, you will see that Ghana's own, we are very low, and that has attracted a lot of caution. You know, as I speak now, Ghana has been issued a yellow card. A yellow card is simply, as in football, is a warning to indicate that you are not doing something well. And the high, illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, even including what the trawlers are doing, is one of the reasons why the European Union has given Ghana a yellow card. And the yellow card is still pending. What that means is that we have not still put in place the necessary processes and measures and operational responsibilities to be able to prove that we are committed as a nation to properly regulate the trawl sector and also combat and reduce illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. So yes, this gives us the yellow card gives us a clear indication of where we stand comparing to the international standards.
But if you say it is not regulated properly, what is preventing us from regulating the trawl sector according to the international standards?
I will put two things. One, the commitment to regulate, and then the political will to regulate. And these are two things that has largely bedeviled us as a nation. We have laws, we have management plans, and then we have some operational responsibilities. And even we have an action plan to deter and combat illegal or unregulated fishing. IUU, an action plan against IUU. However, the commitment to do this have not been effective. When I say the commitment, for instance, assessment have shown that there are a couple of weaknesses in regulating the trawl sector. Every trawl vessel is supposed to have a fisheries observer employed and posted by the government to observe the activities of these trawl. However, it has come to light that most of these trawl are still engaged in illegalities. So what it is that we will need to look at our observer program to find a way to understand why these observers on this trawl are not really doing the work that is expected of them. Then we have a law that states that certain categories of illegalities, you will be fined a minimum of $1 million. However, a lot of fishing trawl vessels have been caught doing these illegalities. Some of them have been caught multiple times. However, none of them have been fined this $1 million that is enshrined in the law. So the issue is that we have a law, but we have not been able to implement. So the commitment to do that, as I've said, has not been there. The political will has not been there. We have an issue of beneficial ownership, which is opaque. In that instance, there could be some influential personalities or people who are politically inclined or others who are benefiting from the operations of these trawl sectors. So once that is in, we could understand why there has been that laxity by the regulators, or we can also understand why the law has not been able to bite, especially where there are clear evidence of trawlers who have been involved in illegalities, who have been arrested, and there are issues. So the commitment to do that has been lacking, but it's really affecting us as a country because our fishery sector is near collapse. What it means is that the fishery has been exploited, overexploited, and we have overfished. So we will need to have stringent measures. And this is the reason why government and stakeholders are all supporting the closed season. However,
but before you move on, the question is, how are these trawlers, like you're saying, how are they affecting fish catch in Ghana, and also how are they affecting livelihoods of fishers involved in the industry?
Yes, and that was what I was getting to. So the reason why we have supported closed season is to ensure that the depletion of the fish stock, especially the small pelagics, are dealt with. So both trawler and canoe fishermen are engaged in this closed season. The reason also being that a lot of the trawl harvest, even though they are supposed to target demersal fishes, when we assess the landings, that means the fish they have caught, we see high volumes of the pelagic fishes. These fish, that is the bloodline, and we call it people's fish for the coastal communities. We see that most of these landings have some of these fish. However, you could also see that some of them are specifically targeting this fish and actually reporting them as bycatch. Bycatch means that what you are targeting, others come in. However, when you assess the volume of fish landed, you will see that the small pelagics are higher volumes. So the issue is that these fish are rather being targeted by the trawl and being sold back to fishers in a way. For instance, there was the use of widespread illegal transshipment called cycle, and the government have put in measures to address it. However, the fishes that are landed, that are now going through the proper process, still have high volumes of juvenile fishes and small pelagic fishes. In that regard, we have not really addressed the challenge of trawl on the purpose fish. We have not really addressed the effect, the negative effect of trawl on the fish, purpose fish. And that is why some of us are of the opinion that we would need to reduce capacity and effort of the trawl sector. In fact, the Fisheries Management Plan 2022 to 2026 has indicated that along all the sectors, trawl sector, artisanal sectors, and others, the capacities are higher and above the sustainable allowable capacity, and they must be brought down. So we do not see any reason why there could be a contemplation to even increase the existing trawl numbers from the current 76 to a proposed 88. It is suicidal. It goes beyond reason. It is against the laws. It is against the management plans. And these are the issues that we want to zoom in to specifically call for commitment and the political will to do what is right, to reduce the capacities and the effort in the trawl sector, and also to ensure that they are properly regulated so that we can bring sanity in the fishery sector, so that we can ensure that the high volumes of juvenile and then pelagic fishes, small pelagic fishes that are harvested irresponsibly and unsustainably by these trawls would be dealt with, so that we can have a reduced effort in terms of the trawl and then have an appreciable rebuilding measures for small pelagic. So it is very important that we deal with that. The close season alone cannot address the issue.
Okay, but how does that affect me as an ordinary consumer? And why must I be worried about what is happening on the high seas?
Yes, how it affects you is that your fish that you want to have on your table may not be available. So there will be no supply. And once demand is higher than supply, the prices will go up. No wonder that a lot of people are complaining of the prices of fish at this period in time, because a lot of the fish that are supposed to be allowed to grow to maturity, that can spawn, that can produce, are being caught. And some of them are being caught by these trawlers. So they are not allowed to reproduce, to allow more fish to be recouped into the system. So what is happening is that the fish availability is dwindling, and then you as a consumer will have to buy your fish at a higher price. What also means is that the fishing communities, and we have a lot of population in the fishing coast, their livelihood will also decline, and there will be high poverty, and it has insecurity issues because people are not getting the sort of economic commensurate benefits they get from their livelihood in terms of fishing. So it affects their families, schooling, school children of fisher folks may have to stay home because they are unable to take care of them. So it has a whole rippling on the economy, on the fish consumers, and even on the general well-being of fisher folks and their dependents.
So it means that with commitment to enforce the laws, we can overcome this challenge. Let's see where this takes us. I'm grateful that you found time to join us, Mr. Che Yamwa. So Kojo Yamwa is Programs Manager for Friends of the Nation. Now, this morning, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is organizing a crunch news conference to protest the rapidly depreciating cedi against the dollar. Among other things, the association is expected to detail the extent of impact on their members and trade. Let's go live to the Opera Square in Accra, where this conference will be taking place. We'll be going there shortly when we do have that conference underway. This is still the Joy News desk. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. We'll take you to that live press conference shortly. But before, the much anticipated EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is scheduled to start on Wednesday, August 24 to Sunday, August 28. Already, our exhibitors are giving you countless reasons not to miss out on Ghana's biggest house and fair. One of them, Lakeside Estate, is promising a 5% discount on its new Ashele Botre Community 9, soon to be completed Lakeside Hills houses. The new estate has a community playground, pharmacy, supermarket, salon, and many more. Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
The Accra International Conference Center from the 24th will be transformed into a one-stop shop for everything housing. Leading experts in the housing industry would assemble at the Accra International Conference Center to provide you with the solutions that you need. Right about now, we are at the premises of the 2019 CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year. We're talking about Lakeside Estate. And we have with us here Isaac Ntiamwa. He's the marketing manager. He's going to tell us more about Lakeside Estates and what they have on offer.
This is our current community number 8, which we have currently sold out. And we are going to introduce community number 9, which is going to be the lifestyle community, which my colleague will be taking you through afterwards.
Okay.
The community 8 has various homes. We have the facilities like the fitness center, we have the pharmacy, we have the supermarket, we have the children playground. And going into the community 9 is going to even be bigger.
Okay.
Which we're going to tell you afterwards.
Okay. So what it means is that on a weekend on Friday, when I drive home and I enter this gate, I can stay here till thy kingdom comes.
Yeah.
What makes you stand?
Lakeside Estate has been one of the companies in Ghana where we don't compromise on our space.
Okay.
We'll bring you the full report in our subsequent bulletins. But this morning, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is organizing a Crunch News conference to protest the rapidly depreciating cedi against the dollar. Among other things, the association is expected to detail the extent of impact on their members and trade. Let's go live to the Opera Square in Accra, where this news conference is taking place, and bring you what's been happening there.
That we Korean importers especially would like the government to sit and address those problems with us. Finally, we also plead that the new assembly cars, because their production has not reached the point of solving the problem of availability, accessibility, and affordability. We pray that the government allow us to import, we importers of cars to import side by side, so that they don't make policies that will do away with our business. Thank you very much.
Alongside. So that we brief why brief and precise. Okay. Let me invite Sami Food and Beverages to also
on the same issues.
Joe Boy. Joe Boy. Businesses are suffering. The KIA are suffering. Our industries are suffering. Individuals are suffering. Employers are also suffering. Our city has been locked and the key given to the IGP. We don't know whether when the IGP before then left, he released the city to depreciate in this way. Whoever said this must bow down his head in shame, and by now he should tender in his resignation and leave government. Now, we have not much to say, but only to say we support whatever decision that GUTA is taking today, because whatever affects them transcend from beyond downwards, where the industries and the importers are concerned. So in this view, I would say we are behind you, whatever decision that you take. This reminds me in 2015 when we took a unilateral decision to close down businesses because of the then decision that flat rates of 3% would have to be replaced by 17.5%. Today, our president, as we know him, has been the one who challenged the 12.5 VAT that was introduced and had a serious demonstration called Kumi Preku. Today, we are having to pay 19.5%, 6%, and 4% in the different sectors of our economy. He is the one behind all these things. And today, if we got to this point of paying 19.5, he should then say, no, let's go back to 7.5, as he was then demanding. But unfortunately, under his tutorage and governance, we are seeing the worst in our history of this country. Now, under His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo's watch, we are seeing an escalating of inflation beyond repairs. It's as if this country has no anybody leading us. Everything has been let to fall freely. And if you see the city today, when they took over, it was 3.8. Today, we are paying 10 cities. And we cannot continue as businesses and importers. Whatever that decision that is taken today, we are going to go by it. And I will sound a warning that we shouldn't get to that point where industries and importers and retailers would then have to lay down their tools because the situation is so bad. We want a direction. Who is leading this country must give us a direction to reverse all these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Do we have the foreign exchange members here? How much is the dollar today?
10.05.
10.05. 10.2. Thank you very much. All right. Let me quickly invite Mr. Ediakon, the president of GIF, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, to give us a message.
Choboy, thank you very much. We from the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders do not have a choice but to support our traders. They say when the last trader dies, the freight forwarder will die. Without their business, we don't have business. But apart from that, we're also Ghanaians, and so we feel the pinch when we come to the same market. So we do not have a choice but to support what you're doing. Every effort that we will have to Ghana to support my brother here to make sure that we get some results. We cannot put the economy on autopilot. Something has to happen. I'm not going to say much. I'm sure my brother would come through with the message. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Finally, before I give it to our president, I'll let our council of member and the chairman of the occasion give us a short message.
Guta, our business.
Guta,
our business.
I don't hear the voice well.
Guta,
our business.
Hello, Mr. President. Our fellow friends from the media, businessmen and traders around, and ladies and gentlemen, I have to give first thanks to the Almighty God for today and also accepting me here as the chairman for the occasion. Accepting me as the chairman for the occasion. Also, I will thank you all for coming to such a wonderful meeting, which is very critical and very authority. Today is a very crucial day for our business, and therefore I'll urge you all to keep quiet and listen to the speaker so that you'll hear our message and our plea, and you can take it all over the country for the people to know what is happening in the grounds of our business. And people will stop shouting, traders are increasing things and the stuff. And you know that it is not the traders who are deliberately increasing stuff, but rather it is the situation either from the government or from other source, which we are here to find. And we know that if you want to talk, it is from the government.
Come here.
We here are not politicians and we are not supporting any government. Our party is our business. Yes. And therefore, whatever we do here or whatever we say here is concerning our business. I thank you all and I wish you to take the message across the whole country for people to hear our voice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the media, I think my friend, the Korean Association, has said it all, but I just wanted to add something to it. The government, now, because of the new assemblies who are coming into the country, they wanted to implement a new law that is from 1st of next month, 1st of September. Cars that are from 1 to 5 years is going to attract duty rate of 35%. Duty rate of 35%. And cars from, let's say, from 5 to 10 years is going to go by the same duty rate that we are paying. That is the 10% for cars below 3.0, and the 3.0 and above is paying the 20%. So we are saying that because of the protection of these assemblies, we are not against the assemblies to assemble their cars here. However, the government should consider the used car dealers so that whatever we bring into the country, at least a year or 2 years, if they put that charges on it, we don't have a problem. But if you say you are putting 35% on cars from 1 to 5 years, that means you are totally getting us out of business. And besides that, how many people here in Ghana can afford buying a brand new car? So it's something that is not only for car dealers, but for the whole nation. We are doing something for ordinary Ghanaians to at least, who has small money being saved, be able to acquire or purchase his own car. So we are pleading with the government to hold on with that decision, with us to meet again, and after that, whatever decision will come out, then we all agree with it. Thank you.
That is insightful, very insightful. I believe because of the dealers, second-hand car dealers, that's why some of you are car owners. Otherwise, you would have been car owners. Yeah, so let's appreciate their work very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, God bless. Finally, we're going to hear from our president. But before then, I want our General Secretary to give something in a minute.
Friends from the media, today is like something between Clementine and Lakukracha. Yes, you've heard some of the grievances. You are the country through which we can get this message to the government and the world at large and demand as a right for immediate solution to stop businesses from profusely bleeding to death. I'm coming out with Guta's national anthem, or we term it Guta's jabs. So when I say Azubizaga Zubiza, you say Zuzeze. Azubizaga Zubiza. 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 Zuzeze. Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
Thank you very much. On this note, I want us all to give us the message for the day.
Million woman, million Magadi for, million Ghana for Butia now. Yantia, yes, you had it. Any idea business say you come, they say you did. Never your name of Boyading, not the Bia Mubusa, Yay, good time penny for Nititu, I am Yamitia. Yes, he can sit near your day, yes, he can sit near your day. I don't know the Bia Budi Jama Sumewa. I don't know the Bia Budi Jama Sumewa. And free me, and I'm the other time. Nessa, if you want us, sir, Musika shared when you are bread, and I must say, I'm penny for you, now when you are bed. Yadamase, Nipa, who are executives. Our associations, you know, your property and your Siamotre, and your Mabatra, and your members, you know, and by executives, you know, and I Hamas Hano. Now, Medamase. Sir, Mudimika Ababu Chidom, now a here Munti, Maba, Yada, Yamia press if also Yadamase. Sir, at a very short notice, Moso, Mabaha, Wabaya Hama. Now, Mekasano, Melpoto, Brofum, Tase, Ghana Casano, Iguahuro Bebre, Yakano Brofuna, na Aye, Tiawa, Abiyena, Medamase, Namunia Sutre, no Mangana, Muntia, Asupem. Na to say the chairman Kayano, and just a bit politics in the Ayawaha, Yay, Yasum Yagadi, Yansum Bibia, Yagadi, Yasumno, and dear best say Yagadi, Yampre. Mr. Chairman, fellow business leaders, members of the press, members of the trading communities, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, I'm deeply saddened by the degree of signs of depression on the faces of all members of the trading community I see here this morning. I hope the government will swiftly and decisively act to salvage our plight for the better. As a trustee and manager of our national resources and the economy at that. No doubt, we all know that at this moment in time, we have serious difficulties as a nation. We are also not oblivious of the fact that there are global challenges with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the Russia and Ukraine war, which Ghana is no exception in this global phenomenon. One thing we need to clarify, we need to clearly understand is that issues regarding the pandemic have become a new normal worldwide. Likewise, the Russia and Ukraine war, which has no end in sight. It is for these reasons that we, as a nation, need to rise above these challenges and find appropriate solutions given our peculiar situation. Therefore, the purpose of our gathering here this morning is to pinch the government to wake up and see the depth to which businesses in the country are crumbling as a result of the following. 1. Rapid and continuous depreciation of the cedi. 2. Continuous rise in the interest rate. And 3. High rate of inflation, among others. As we speak now, one's working capital of 640,000 Ghana cedis, which could buy $100,000 at the beginning of this year, can now buy 64,000 United States dollars. Only. Again, this borrowed capital of 640,000 is now attracting interest payment of about 35%, representing 224,000 Ghana cedis per annum. The effect of inflation has also drastically reduced consumers' purchasing power and the inability of the consumer to buy or purchase more has also affected business turnover. Therefore, businesses can now hardly service their loans to their banks as well as honor their suppliers' credit. We believe that with the mandate and resources given to the government to manage the economy, they can turn the economy around. We have given the government mandate and the resources, and we believe with the resources given to government, they can turn the economy around. We as members of the business community are ever ready to avail ourselves to help the government in its quest to find solutions to these myriads of problems. We do not subscribe to the notion that the situation has gotten out of hand. We should not therefore throw our hands in despair and put the economy in autopilot. We can definitely do something given the human resources in the country. Let us assemble all major stakeholders and brainstorm for pragmatic solutions.
All right, so that's Guta executives there speaking about the depreciation cedi. There will be more on our subsequent bulletins, but we'll take a quick break now. We'll be back with sports. Right, time for sports, and the man Fentuo Tahiro is here with latest from the world of sports. Hi, Fent.
Yeah,
good morning.
How are you,
I'm well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Welcome to the family, man.
Yeah, good to see you. Man.
Good to see you. So what's on the table today?
Quite a lot. Transfer countdown is on later tonight. So as you know it, the Ghana Premier League transfer window closes later tonight, and we have a very special show just to wrap up what has been a very interesting transfer window. You know, for the past few weeks, players have been moving up left and right. If you're not careful, yes, one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest. And if you're not careful, it's actually easy to lose track of where the players are going and who is going where. And that's exactly why this show was designed, so that we can bring any follower of the Ghana Premier League up to speed with every single transfer, not just those that are joining, but also those that are leaving. Quite a lot of players that you might have followed last season because of all of the quietness. You wake up one day, you realize that they are gone, you don't even know. So tonight's show, like Fabio Gama, for example, many people don't even know that he's gone, but he's gone.
And then, is it Moro, our left back?
Moro, yeah, the left back, exactly. You know, so Kotoko have lost some key players. But they've also signed in some key players, signed in 2 Cameroonian players, and they've signed an Ivorian player. They have as many as 6 foreign players. So we'll tell you who those are. House of Oak, the same. And those 2 clubs are particularly important because they're going to Africa. So we'll be very interested in seeing the new players that they've brought in, how much impact they could have with these teams going into Africa. And apart from that, even coaches are also moving as well. Great Olympics have lost their coach.
So this evening you will tell us where he is.
No, yeah, we know where he is.
Exactly,
But Olympics is their coach. They have a contract with him. So, you know, it's all of those things. And so it should be very exciting. Gary L. Smith, George Addo Jr. Will be joining us as well as we look back on the last few days of transfers, and especially what could be happening later tonight, because we always talk about the deadline day being some of the most crucial hours in transfers, because some late deals, some paperwork getting missing somewhere, you don't file it correctly, you could run into trouble. So it should be very exciting. We have a very rich guest list that would be joining us on the show. You know, Atapoku, you know, Nuhu Adams. So all the guys from Kumasi, from the central part of the country, from even Tamale, which now has 2 Ghana Premier League teams.
Yes. Interesting.
Exactly. So the big name moves, the small name moves.
You have RTU in there.
And then
Tamale City.
Exactly. So that's a big deal. RTU are back to training. They even have a friendly game tomorrow. So all of the drama even happening before the transfer window.
And one thing is that you have to trust Joy Sports. So meet them tonight on the JoyNews channel with the countdown, the transfer countdown. That's how we wrap up the bulletin. There is more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace to enjoy the rest of our morning.